Final Fight is one of those beat-em-ups that lands like a comforting, if familiar, punch of nostalgia. Alongside Double Dragon and Golden Axe, it was one of my all-time favourite arcade games, so you can imagine my delight when it finally landed on the Commodore Amiga in 1991. The plot is as straightforward as they come. The mayor's daughter, Jessica, has been kidnapped by the notorious Mad Gear Gang, and it's up to ex-wrestler turned mayor Mike Haggar, along with his martial arts mates, Cody and Guy, to dish out justice, one knuckle sandwich at a time. It's the classic brawler storyline we saw time and time again in the era, but it's delivered here with just enough grit and swagger to keep you invested. Well, as much as a side-scrolling punch-em-up ever can. One of the first things you notice is the sheer size of the characters. These sprites are enormous, almost a third of the screen tall. It feels less like an Amiga game and more like you've accidentally invited an entire arcade cabinet round for tea. Big, bold, and built like brick shithouses, they stomp across the screen. This was looking good. I was incredibly excited. It was like having the arcade game in my own home. Or was it? You see, and I have to be completely honest here, but that's where the comparison with the original arcade machine ends, I'm afraid. You see, the arcade Final Fight was a slick beast, fluid, fast. The Amiga version, while respectable, can't quite match that level of finesse. The animations feel choppier, and the large sprites sometimes seem to lumber rather than dance across the screen. The backgrounds hint at the city's seedy underbelly. A rattling subway train with swinging straps is a nice touch, for example, but the overall effect was more functional than fabulous. Gameplay-wise, it's solid, but hardly revolutionary, especially if you'd sunk pocket money into the arcade original. Compared to that beefy, bombastic coin-op experience, the Amiga version feels a bit like watching a fireworks display through a letterbox. It's all there, just a little off-colour and somehow squashed. A little slower and definitely missing some of the dazzle. You've got your basic punches, kicks and special moves, but the moveset is limited, and the enemies tend to fall into repetitive patterns. The life bars are generous, which turns fights into lengthy slugfests more than tight strategic battles. Weapons like pipes and knives make appearances, but they only spice things up briefly before the same old thugs keep coming. I don't know why I'm telling you all of this though, to be fair, as you've probably all played the original arcade. If you haven't, well, here's what you were missing. That said, Final Fight tries to score points with its clunky visuals and sense of scale, but the action does stumble when things get busy. The pace can feel jerky, like the game's chugging a bit just to keep up with all those tattooed arms and thudding boots. Scrolling's serviceable but hardly silky. That glorious two-player mode does make it worthwhile firing up with a friend though. Nothing bonds friends quite like accidentally kicking each other in the face while simultaneously trying to thump a goon wearing hot pants. Compared to the arcade version, it was understandably going to be a step down technically, but it still manages to capture enough of the spirit to keep me coming back. The arcade Final Fight was a masterpiece of its kind, delivering smooth animations, a rich smooth set, and a thrilling sense of speed and impact. The Amiga version then, while respectable, feels like watching the highlights rather than the full match. Big on spectacle, but sometimes light on finesse. In the end, Final Fight was far from the perfect beat-em-up on the Amiga, where the action lacks the speed and fluidity of its arcade big brother. It's more of a noisy stomp through Metro City's roughest postcodes, where oversized sprites and chunky sound effects do their best to distract from the slightly sluggish pace. If you're after deep gameplay or something new, you might come away a bit underwhelmed. But if you're just craving a nostalgic dose of street-level aggro, the chance to throw digital punches with a mate, and a reminder of those arcade afternoons when everything smelt of chips and fag smoke, then Final Fight is still worth a visit. It's no masterpiece, but for a few minutes, it let you believe you were Cody, the vest-wearing hero with the power to clean up the streets. Until the next disc swap, that is. Still, get it fired up and give it a whirl. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and be sure to let us know what you thought of Final Fight in the comments section. As always, your continued support is massively appreciated, so hit that subscribe for more content just like this. Check out the various playlists on the channel for more Commodore titles, and maybe stick around, as there's another one coming up right now. Hopefully, I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, bye for now.